What is going on, guys? We are back with yet another rebuild on Madden 23, and today it is of the Houston Texans, a team that had a pretty damn good draft. There's been some, conflicting opinions about what happened in the draft. Did they trade too much for Will Anderson? And, are they ready for a quarterback? I think they made the right calls. C.J., sure, you can make the argument that, if they waited out one more year with the 2 picks they had, which, Cleveland isn't even, guaranteed to be better than like a top 15 pick, and then they end up with a top 2 pick, maybe they get Caleb Williams, whatever the case, but there's no guarantee in that, and C.J. Stroud is definitely good enough to take 2 overall, so I think they made the right call in both aspects. It was a pretty damn big trade to the Cardinals, but if you're getting the best pass rusher for this year and next year, either way in the draft, I think it's worth it. I think it's absolutely worth it. The Cardinals made a really good decision as well, though, as they get so much capital for a team that also needs to rebuild a lot. So it really kind of depends on where you feel like your roster is, and obviously the Texans we're one of the worst teams in the league, and their roster is definitely depleted. But they did a really good job in the draft to kind of counteract that, if you will, especially here in Madden. We're going to be starting Henry. We're going to be starting Dylan, who you can't spell Horton without the whole thing becoming starred. What else do we have? Offensively, we're going to be starting Dell. Also, even though Robert Woods does have, he was actually pretty good with the Rams, didn't really play that well last year, so he's not going to just get the roster spot for me. I'm actually going to give the different style receiver, if you will, in Nico Collins the nod, and I really want to start Mechie because he should have a decent year, and he has way more potential than Robert Woods. It's just like a young quarterback, Robert Woods, with his route running. You would hope that he would be a big help. Man, he has zero potential. He has literally zero potential. I don't know. Offensive line, didn't really do a great job to improve it outside of Shaq Mason. And then defense, we've already been over. So overall, I think they did a pretty good job in the draft. I think if they would have been able to give the Browns pick rather than their own first, it would have been so much better of a trade to the Cardinals. But we'll see. Maybe C.J. Stroud can actually, help them compete and keep it even with Cleveland. Even though Cleveland has all that talent, they still haven't figured it out. They were not great last year. And I know it's crazy to say, but we've had a couple of Super Bowl wins in year 4. Can we beat that? I know it's crazy to say, but having a guy like Stroud, Pierce, and Will Anderson, cornerstone players, and Stingley, having those cornerstone players at those key positions, this high potential, this young, this early, it gives us a big step up. If we were able to do well with guys like Richardson and Hendon Hooker and Will Levis, who didn't even all start right away. Actually, Anthony Richardson might have, but outside of him, didn't start right away. We still did well. We might be able to. Or it's a 5-year rebuild and we don't even make the playoffs in any of the seasons. Who freaking knows? But what I do know is I appreciate you guys watching, and if you're new, maybe think about subscribing to a ton of franchise stuff, specifically these rebuilds. I barely got through that word, dude. I barely. Rebuilds, franchise, all that stuff. Maybe, subscribe, maybe leave a like. It's a little early. It's a little early to be leaving likes, but if you don't mind. Also, another thing you do is let me know what team you want to see next. This could have easily been a Falcons, Bijan Robinson rebuild. It could have been a Steelers, could have been a Seahawks. So many different teams to do. Also, I get a couple of questions I'll try to clear up as quick as possible here is why we're starting in 2022 is because we're using rosters that are made up in the roster creator. So obviously we can't go 2023. I don't know who you guys think I am or anyone is, but there's no shot you're going to have somebody starting at active roster going to the draft and selecting all 200-plus prospects. You're insane if you think that's going to happen, and you're even way more insane if you actually are someone that did that. I wouldn't even do that if I could save the roster afterwards. If I could save the roster afterwards and use that for the future, for the rest of, for every other rebuild, I still wouldn't do it because it would just take so long having to switch all the teams and all that. Hell no. And then for anyone that asks about what roster I'm using, there's no point. All the rosters are pretty bad right now. At this point, I would just choose one that has like almost all the prospects completed, and then you could just edit them yourself, because I have not seen a good one. This one had C.J. Stroud as an 80 overall. I'll actually have to show you guys the ratings, because I actually just kind of glanced over them as an 80 overall, which clearly is just way too overrated. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But speaking of those players, C.J. Stroud, this is what I have him ranked as. I actually lowered those accuracies. They were almost all 90, which is insane. But he is a very accurate quarterback, so it is fair to have him in that low 80 range, obviously. Let's take a look at Tank Dell. Just fast enough, solid route runner, obviously. He's a pretty good player. I gave him star because I think he has a lot of potential. Who else? Xavier Hutchinson. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, this is a little bit of a long shot, and to be honest, he'll probably not even be as good as this. Usually, almost all the rookies have like 7 release. I mean, look at Treylon Burks. He's still like 65 release or something ridiculous. Scruggs, be honest, I don't know that much about the linemen, so I kind of just let his ratings go. He didn't have Jared Patterson, so I added him to the list, but he's such a lower overall, like 23-year-old, that he probably won't have, it's just not going to happen. And even those ratings, not actually that bad, considering where EA usually ranks rookie linemen when games come out. Obviously, we'll be doing a bunch of these rebuilds when Madden 24 officially comes out and have the official ratings. 31 was taken, obviously, by Pierce, so I gave him number 50. I was going to give him something in the 90s, but there's too many, like, I wouldn't say legendary names, but some, names from the recent past as well, like Clowney, and then obviously J.J. Watt, who is a legendary name. Will Anderson was like a 83 overall for him. I think you could have made that argument, but yeah, definitely, in my opinion, a little bit less. X Factor is also, you can make the argument that, oh, he should be superstar. What? I don't care, dude. I think he's freaking X Factor. Horton, you can see the base ratings here. And then who we have, Henry. I had to lower his ratings quite a bit as well. And then the free safety, who I think is actually pretty solid, in Brandon Hill. Maybe he starts at some point. I don't know. But yeah, it takes a lot of effort. A lot of effort. I'm not even the one that makes the roster, obviously. Like, I just edit, the base players that they have on their list. And it's still a lot of effort, changing a lot of contracts. And, I try to change as many of the existing contracts as I could as well. Like, guys like Hurts and, Herbert's projected contract, all these different players. So I guess if you're going to leave a like for anything, maybe just the effort level, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully they start feeding you some Fountain of Youth water. I think it's water. 'Cause I don't care, dude. 25 at normal. Ugh. All right, so we're already at the contract point. Dalton Schultz, obviously, had 1 year, like 6 or 7 in real life. Not a great year. It's like 8 games in. I was going to sign him because I think he's actually pretty viable. 26-year-old, 84 overall. But it could be the scheme, in fairness. But that's not really worth it at this point. Of course, it was pretty much guaranteed that we were not making the playoffs, right? It's just not going to happen. This is, beyond where I would expect it, this team to be in real life. So a 7-10 season is great for this team. You would love a little bit better because, you traded your own draft picks, your first and third, so you want to get the most value out of it by not sucking, but it is what it is. Things happen. The Browns made the playoffs. What can you do besides trade the Cleveland Browns pick next time and say, well, Arizona is the best you're going to get, and then lose Will Anderson and feel really sad. But let's take wait. Look at the top quarterbacks. What year is this? Like 2015 or something besides Joe Burrow? What's going on? But C.J. Stroud, was he MVP? I don't know. That's a lot of it. Or MVP, Rookie of the Year. It's a lot of interceptions. A lot of yards, too, though. Touchdowns are, okay. Pierce is pretty good. Tank Dell killed it, over 100 catches. Nico Collins is pretty good. Mechie, pretty good. Dalton Schultz, I ended up giving a 4-year 42 too, because he's pretty solid, to be fair, with his ratings, and he's young enough. The tackles are pretty decent, especially Howard, considering he shouldn't be decent. 3 100-plus tacklers. Greenard, pretty sure it's Grenard. Is it? I don't know. I thought I said Greenard, and it's actually Grenard. I don't know, dude. Jonathan, 10 sacks. Only 7 for Will Anderson, which is really shocking. 4 for Rankins. It is what it is. Interceptions are low. Kicking was iffy. Johnson was pretty good. And then Tank Dell, I mean, over 2,000 total yards, technically. It's technically Josh Allen is the MVP. Let's take a look at Tank Dell, the Rookie of the Year, which we absolutely do not hate because that is a superstar right there. Was he actually best wide receiver? He was not on the list. Forget what I've just said. And those are pretty much the only things. DB of the Year actually went to the Steelers. Okay. Okay, he's a good player. That's interesting. Not even Rookie of the Year, but DB of the Year. Okay, he probably was Rookie of the Year, to be fair, but I kind of just glanced over it. If it's not a Texan, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Buffalo versus the Packers. Okay, this is interesting. It's got to be Buffalo. Or the Packers. Fair enough. All right, let's take a look at our dev-ups. We know for sure Tank Dell's going to go up in dev. Maybe Dalton, not happening. Pierce is pretty good. Didn't think he was going to go up in dev either. And then defensively, the two linebackers. Okay, that's fair enough. And probably Steven Nelson. Not that it really matters. He's like almost 30. Or he is 30. He's not almost. Nice dev up, though, buddy. Well, I guess we'll take it. I mean, it's better than not going up in dev. Not that it really matters, but fair enough. Re-signings, it didn't show that we really had anyone, but the game does get glitchy, and it's like, oh, here's 400 players, and then you re-sign at the last second, by the way. Here you go. Best of luck. And that is not the case. They're all, all being two are backups. Free agency. Cornerback would not hurt. Byron Jones. That's an interesting name. I don't know why. I feel like he feels like a Texan, dude. Especially since I'm literally doing it as we speak. It really feels like a Texan because I'm physically attacking the position. Terrence Steele is interesting. Clowney back to the Texans. Wouldn't be bad. He actually had a really good year here in Sim as well, which makes no sense that he'd be a free agent, but interesting. The Arizona Cardinals, an 18-sack player, didn't get him back. It's pretty unrealistic that they wouldn't. Coming back, what about Bryce Huff? Like, I need a new, younger, developable player. Wasn't good for the Chargers, so that obviously makes more sense realistically. Clowney coming back would be pretty cool too because he's very interested. It's a very expensive player, which you debate, are you even ready for him? I'm going to go with the younger, more developable Bryce Huff, and I think I am actually going to go for Terrence Steele as well if it's possible. Don't want to super invest in Huff, so we'll go with a 2-year 23. Maybe we'll regret it two different ways, that we should have went more years, or that was 2 years too many. And then I don't think we're going to actually get Steele because he does not want to join us. 3 years 27. I'd probably go up to a 3-year 30. He's actually pretty damn good in the game. Okay, I'm still going to go to 3-year 30, even though we're the highest team, because I want to give us a better chance at getting him, which we've seen lately. Even though we're the highest on the bar, we still don't get him. I think Byron's locked in, though, and so is Bryce. But, yeah, I don't know about the other one. All right, so I tried to get Dalton Risner as well. He's still on the list. Would he still join, or did we get screwed? Nice! So we got all 4 players I wanted. 2 new offensive linemen, a new corner, and a new edge rusher. You know, other than Byron Jones, they're all question marks, but I like them. They're mine now. I also think Risner, who I'm pretty sure was kind of a versatile player coming into the draft, will be our new center, even though he's pretty big. I'm going to play him at center. And yes, I know, Howard had an okay season. 10 sacks for Madden terms isn't terrible, but yeah, he's expensive. He's 27. He's normal dev. He's under 80 overall. He's not worth it. But now, with those moves, I think that kind of frees us up to just fix the defensive tackles, really. Fix the defensive tackles, grab a new wide receiver probably, and we're kind of on our way, right? Like, cornerbacks, sure, Byron Jones is probably like a 1-year guy after this season. He probably won't be worth getting back, but him and Stingley is a pretty decent combo. And, I mean, obviously we need some safety help, but we can live with what else we have if it comes down to it. Pick 1 overall, the Detroit Lions have, which would be a massive L for them in real life, even though it would lock in, Caleb Williams. The Cardinals, that must be our pick, which I love to see. Super awesome there. Our pick is 18, so it's not the worst in the world. There's a couple of decent wide receivers in the draft, but I don't know if I even want any of them because they're all kind of like Like, they're decent, but are they really worth it? I could trade down, get some extra value. There's a couple of okay DTs, potential-wise. And Sweeney was actually one of the wide receivers that I kind of had my list. I expect him to go earlier than that, though. I thought he was a top 10. If the guy's there at 18 that I was looking at, maybe I got to scout him a little bit further, so we'll see how good and he's gone. Never mind. He went to the Buccaneers. He was a 1-2, which is, like I said, I've seen him go up to 15. That was 16. That's unfortunately the way it goes sometimes. But with that being said, I'm probably going to trade down and grab Mr. Matt Gay and Dom Driscoll, which, considering, do we even have a second? I think we actually do have a second-round pick. Yeah, I mean, we do have a second-round pick anyways, but to say, considering we don't have one, it doesn't matter. So forget what I've said. If we can find a team with 2 second-round picks, that would be great. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I doubt it. All right, pick 18 for 41 and 45 from the Colts. That's actually a net win for us of maybe a 5th-round pick. And in general, we're getting quantity over quality, which I absolutely am aiming for. They get DT Arrington. I don't know if he was good or not, but I really loved that trade. I am very appreciative of the Colts. Thank you very much. We're going to be going with that free safety, Gay. Hey, we don't judge because he seemingly is decent in man coverage, so could play corner with okay athleticism. But obviously, Jimmy Ward will likely be gone after the season as well. So we've got options with the versatility. Give me him. Hidden development trade, 90 speed, 89 excel, 86 jumping. Those safeties are so hit or miss. We had a Titans one where it was a 77 overall, but he was normal, which we didn't hate, but we never got to see him develop because we obviously finished before he ever got a chance to start. But you just don't know with those safeties. They're very hit or miss. And then with this player, we definitely want the cornerback Riddick. I can't lose him. He's the best of the bunch here, and we don't have to get him in the first round. This guy looks decent. Didn't get to scout the zone coverage, though. 5'9". I don't know. He's solid, but I don't think for a 3 at this point, he's a cornerback 3, it's worth taking that risk yet. So with this pick, we're going to go with Dom Driscoll, and then we're probably going to trade that next second-round pick for a 3rd next year, a little bit later in this draft. Dom Driscoll looks pretty good. I'm hoping for hidden. I don't know, though. Yeah, like I said, I kind of had a feeling. 80 speed is really good, though, for a DT. So we're just hoping that he can get a development trade upgrade because he's likely going to start early on. Ooh, there you go. 60 and 92 for 13. A little expensive for the Niners, but I think it's pretty fair. I think it's close enough trade value. We might have gained a little bit, but it's not like we gained something ridiculous. But let us trade nothing. I don't know why I was going to say trade. Should we grab Joe Picard right now just because he has that 1-2? I wanted to scout him further. You know what? I'm actually going to take the more positional need right away. He's also 5'9", but definitely, safer. The reason why I like him more is because that left side is a bigger indicator than the actual 40 time. You can see great speed, great jumping, great excel. That's almost always a better indicator than the actual 40 time itself. B zone coverage, A catching. Welcome to the squad. Hidden. Nice. 93 speed, 92 excel. Very good. Very good. I wanted to give him a 6th-round pick, but we literally have no 6th-round picks either year, despite the fact that we have 6 7th-round picks within this and next season. Ridiculous. But a 3rd and a 4th for 66, which is pretty much what the Niners gave us for a higher 2nd-round pick. Obviously, we're gaining a little bit more ground, but not that much. Plus, it is later in the draft, so it is what it is. We kept 18 because I really want to grab somebody with 18. Might be another trade up there, ironically enough. But with this pick, I think even though we're actually kind of set on the offensive line, I think the guy's value... Oh, man, we have the DT. So realistically, we need the guard because his value is insane. We need the DT because we could use multiple DTs. We have a linebacker here. I have a wide receivers. They're not great, but I would prefer to get somebody speedy there. Maybe I don't go with the lineman because we don't really need him. How old is he? 21 years old. I got to take him, dude. Joe Picard. I'm glad I did, too. Hidden development trade, 92 strength is ridiculous. This is extreme risk, but I'm trading 35 next year for 71 this year. I don't think we'll be that bad. I'm at least hoping. And the players that we have here right now can easily help us this upcoming season. kind of like a mini Will Anderson trade, if you will. I just think they're worth it. I'm going to go with Jason Leonhardt, even though I think the DT is really good, simply because this is a technically better, bigger need, and he looks really solid outside of block shedding. So we're going to go with him, who is sadly normal development trade, and at normal. Okay, well, that's not preferable. And then I think with this trade, we're going to go to the Rams and get that DT, and then pretty much call it a draft. Do we have anything later that we can use? I kind of want to keep that 5th if I can. Can I just I guess we'll just give him a 5th round pick, whatever. Actually, a 5th is probably a little high. It's only 10 spots. I'd rather just give him 2 7th round picks, keep one of them this year. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Just barely enough, giving up the 2 7ths this year instead of this next year. Maybe use one of those 7th round next years just to grab something late this year, because I think there's a decent punter, and we kind of need a punter. Johnston's not the youngest guy in the world. His accuracy's not great. But I believe we are going to lock this in with Parrish looks really good too, in fairness. The DT, DeAnthony Glass, pretty much the same guy that we just drafted, but hopefully this time we have a hidden. And we do. Okay, so there we go. So Driscoll was not as good, technically, I suppose. But let's go to the 5th round, where we could actually trade down, try to get something back for next year, since we do not have that 2nd round pick. But if there's any of those wide receivers that look decent with the speed, maybe I go that route as well. I mean, wide receiver is a weird spot on this team because we have a lot of talent. There's just no truly elite guy on the team. So it's I don't know what we do there. This guy is super fast. Oh, is he not super fast? He is very good in excel and agility and change directions, all right. But he is good. I don't know, dude. That's kind of high. I do like him, though. He's a weird player. Elite excel, elite agility. Kind of reminds me a little bit. Now, the key ratings aren't as good, but he kind of reminds me of a guy we literally just had in our Titans franchise where his speed wasn't good, but everything else was elite. His key ratings aren't as good. Man, that is really raw. Do I take the chance on him? A short route, just like I'm taking him. Just like the other guy. I'm telling you, dude. I don't know if this is a new archetype. Maybe I just haven't seen it before, and I'm just only noticing it now. But also he is faster than I expected. The other guy we had was 97 excel with only 90 speed. 92 speed you could live with. That is an interesting archetype. Yet again, the last guy we had, I'm gonna try to get to the 7th round to get a punter. But the last guy we had, we literally just had him in a Titans franchise. He was 78 overall, was it, with Superstar? So we might have just landed a super steal. Another kind of dumb position, though, if you will, or dumb player, because it's another super small slot receiver when we have no true X on this team. But I mean, I don't think you can really hate having a hidden development trade player, especially at a position of need. A position of big need, to be fair. Maybe the biggest need remaining after the draft we just had. And I don't really care what 7th round pick we have. If I'm giving up 2 7ths, I'm just going to take whatever. I'm not going to make it realistic and make sure it's a late pick. Just give me a damn 7th round pick. Give me my kicker and let me out of here. Mr. Steffa with the B accuracy, the elite kick power, 97 kick power. We basically just got ourselves a better Johnston. Depending on Johnston's cap, I might just release him right now. Even though he had a pretty damn good year for us. Sorry, pal. All right, let's take a look at these overalls. First thing's the wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, 76 overall. What's the dev like, though? So, okay, so was the other guy had really good release. Did he? I think the other guy was medium release, actually. But, yeah, another one of those types of archetype guys. Not nearly as good, though. He is more athletic, but he is smaller and definitely not nearly as good. What is the dev? Was he superstar as well? Only star. I mean, he's a good player, but when you factor... Oh, my lord, we have no numbers. A 89, I guess. When you factor in the differences between the two that we... this guy and the Titans one we had, he's okay. Matt Gay. Wow, his name is straight up Matt Gay. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't notice that at first. I just kind of obviously went straight to the gay. But yeah, interesting. And the lowest... Okay, so we have some moves. Ooh, we take that. We have some moves to make because we have no jersey numbers remaining. The DT was a waste. I mean, I don't know what his finesse is. Let's take a look. 76 finesse, 70 block. I don't know, dude. I mean, that seems like a busted pick. 70 overall, that's just a bust. 74 overall, though, for the cornerback, Benjamin Riddick. Very solid player. And, even though he is 5'9", he's smaller, he is very athletic. You can easily get around that height because of the athleticism he has. Star development trait. So, perhaps... Well, I forgot about this damn number thing. Perhaps, the future cornerback, too. I also really don't like that player face, and we'll go with that. Boom. What else do we have? The guard, 73 overall. The linebacker, 73. And then the other DT was also a 70 overall. So both finesse guys, 70 overalls. This guy definitely looks a little bit better in general because of the finesse and obviously the fact that he is hidden. So he'll definitely start. I don't know if Driscoll will start, but I think high draft picks, okay potential. I think you maybe still take the chance. I also want to take a look at these two wide receivers. Sweeney looked really raw. Oh, wow, maybe not. 77 overall. They literally just landed themselves another A.J. Brown, dude. They literally just did. I know he's a little bit more raw, but wow. What's the dev? Of course he's superstar. I should have traded up for him. Even though we landed a pretty good draft ourselves, he was him. And Lamont Thomas, I really should have traded up for him because he was like only 2 spots away. Maybe even better than the other guy we just looked at because he's a little more well-rounded. Also, don't know the dev, though, so we'll see. If he's Superstar Plus, I'm going to be so mad. Okay, star development trait you live with, but still no true X wide receiver. Even though we got that 76 overall star, he's super tiny. So unless we're just running like the slot squad, which basically we are, we still need that X, which is strugglesome. And I can see why we have no jersey numbers. 73 out of 75. Man, I know we're desperate, but really? Okay. Davis Mills is still, like, insanely young, by the way. What the hell's going on? Also, what is this draft pick? Is this the Browns? So we do have to give Cleveland their pick back. Picks, actually. So our starting 2 wide receivers are going to be 5'8", huh? Okay. What a weird bunch of players. All right, here's the roster for year 2. I mean, it's okay, right? We have pretty good weapons, just they're all really small outside of Dalton Schultz. Offensive line is vastly improved. The right tackle spot and the center spot are hugely improved. Every other position kind of good for the rest of this rebuild. We'll see what happens with center specifically, but also right tackle. I think we're good outside of center, to be honest, unless, some contract issues come up. The linebackers, the outside linebackers are pretty solid. Inside might need a replacement, but, we have Leonhard. He's at least okay. He's young and fast. But cornerbacks, definitely set there. Interior of the D-line, don't know. Right, Bryce Huff, almost called him Rice Huff, right end. Don't know about that. And then safety we're completely set on. So we are good to go. Pretty decent start to the season and a bit of a drop-off since. I don't know how Byron Jones is going to look at the end of the season, so I kind of want to hold off. But at the same time, if we lose a bunch of games, wouldn't surprise me if he becomes not interested anymore. So I'm debating it. I really want Shaq Mason and Tunsil back. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. We'll try. See, this is why you don't really worry too much, especially for that DT spot. When you get a normal dev rookie, you can live with it. Star dev, 5K XP. Had a pretty good year. Is it our year, though? I don't know. We ended up going 24 to 21 for our last game there. We won 11 games, believe it or not. And I will say that the division sucked anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But regardless, we earned our way, even though the division made it where we didn't really need to. A little bit of a shaky one in the beginning or the middle. I have the Giants scheme on for the offense. Didn't think the Niners made a whole lot of sense just because we don't have, CMC and we don't have that truly elite wide receiver or tight end. I'm pretty sure that's where their offensive coordinator came from, right? The Niners? I don't even know. But the Giants, just because they use like a wide receiver committee at this point, even though we don't have the size they do, I felt like it made the most sense, I guess, basically funneling everything through that running back and just asking your quarterback just to make a couple of throws. Stroud's killing it in it, though. 4,800 yards, 42 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Pierce was pretty good at receiving. Tank Dell is an X factor, even though it was supposed to be Lucas that had his season. But look at the reception per or yards per reception. He's just not really doing his thing. Nico Collins was pretty comparable though to Tank Dell. Just didn't have the catches. Touchdowns are great. I mean, Tank Dell is an X factor. I don't think you understand. Anderson, with no change of the scheme, goes from 7.5 sacks to 24.5. Bro, what? Is Bryce Huff, I almost called him Hung, like the new age Justin Smith, even though he's obviously like probably like 60 pounds less? It's just like, I don't even know. Like, is he just taking all of the pressure off of him? I don't even know, but wow. I mean, like I said, I didn't change the scheme at all. We're still rocking the same defense here. I'll show you guys real quick. Team scheme, defense. It was the Chiefs, in fairness, but I kept it the same. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. 24.5. All right. But the Bengals, who had Joe Burrow with, I don't even remember who the league MVP was. I would just assume it was him with those numbers. This is probably not going to go too well for us, but you know what? We're competing. All right, going to the end of the game. 0, okay, 7-0, 7-3. We can live with it. 7-6. The Bengals get a touchdown, 21-6. Come on, offense. Defense isn't playing well, but offense is playing way worse. 13-21, 21-21. Nice turnaround here. Up 7, 28 all. Huge drive. Defense will give up the score, even though it's like basically impossible for us to score here. I do want to just come in and, use the players, I suppose. Let's see what we got. See if Lucas can make a play. Can we get close? And there goes Tank Dell getting open. Look at Tank Dell slipping with that timeout, with him going down just in time. I'm sure, Fairburn, I love you, but I mean, we could probably get a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. They're saying he can hit it from this far. Should I not just like run it, get us like 6? Oh, there you go. Pierce! What a run, but wow, scared the hell out of me. I'm going to let Fairburn kick it. See if he can hit a 49-yarder for the win. We gave him a contract 2-year $8, and that's why, because he's him. We are moving on to the divisional round. Sure, I helped him out a little bit, but really it was more of a time constraint thing rather than a could they get down the field thing. Tank Dell is good. A lot of elusiveness from him as well, slipping off of a tackler. I mean, he was solid on that play. Kicking was perfect. I mean, hey, we deserved it more than anyone. Fighting hard and played a damn near perfect game against a very good team. I just upgraded Littlefoot. Here we go, the divisional round. The Bengals are a tough team. Okay, dude. I mean, if we can beat the Bengals, like, do the right thing. That's all I'm saying. But at the same time, us beating the Bengals was not the right thing, so this is kind of like an equalizer, perhaps. And then the winner of this gets to play against the Chiefs or the Raiders. I think you'd probably rather have the Raiders, but we'll see what happens. Not that it might matter, because we might lose. Left or right seems like it's them. They kept pushing. They finally got that 3 points, but defense is holding up well. 7-3, especially with how bad the offense is playing. 14-10. Only giving up a field goal there, even though it was a tough drive to stop. 21 all right now. They look like they have the upper hand, but offense has a chance. There you go, up 4. Down 3, up 4 again, and here it is. Down 3. In range, they score with only 20 seconds left. They're headed to the championship round. Okay. Once again, this isn't the toughest. Wow. A lot of, 2 interceptions, but 6 touchdowns. We take that. Tank Dell, man. Tank Dell is a god. How do I even find, room in the... Wow, okay. The Broncos lost because they're kicker. But how do I even find room in the title to slap Tank Dell's name in there? Because he deserves to be there. All right, the championship round. Can it be the Raiders? It is. How is that possible? Yo, this is... And on the other side, well, I guess to be fair, the Panthers do pretty well in sim, and Eagles are just busted. But how does it even happen? The Raiders end up winning against the Steelers. Fair enough, not the hardest team in the world, but they beat the Chiefs? I never see the Raiders compete. Do they have a different quarterback? Reed Ross, the rookie, fair enough, smoked on Mahomes, which is impressive to say the least, but here it is. I mean, the championship round. A year 2, though? I doubt it, but it could happen. We do have them beat by overall, so we'll see. Nice start, 7-0, 7-3. We live with it. 7-10 now. Uh-oh. Nice turnaround. Defense is doing just good enough, I think. 21-10. Like I said, they're not perfect, but they're doing just enough. Up 10. Okay, wow, they're really not doing just enough. They are selling here. Okay, let's see. This offense has been pretty clutch. Still moving, and they continue to be clutch. Up 3, but 2 minutes left for that Raiders team, who is not trying to get down the field in time. And, I mean, we kind of had to come in for the last play. There was literally 1 second left on the clock. That is a really bad management, but it's not guaranteed to move down the field, right? We're kind of just used to that in these rebuilds, but it's not guaranteed to get down the field. Did enough. That was a little bit of a late hit. And nice knockdown to the Super Bowl. Wow, I really thought they were going to finish the drive better than that, but they didn't. And we are going to potentially see maybe the Panthers beating the Eagles. We'd be loving that. Stroud with another 2 interceptions. Did not have the same amount of touchdowns, though, which is a little bit of a loss. The fullback, though, 2 touchdowns, so we at least got 5 touchdowns. That's all that really matters. Maybe 1 on defense for all we know. Huff with 2 sacks. Glass with 1. 2 interceptions for them, obviously, and that was it. But we're headed to the Super Bowl in year 2. I mean, at this point, I think if we win, we pretty much have to do another 2, try to get the Dynasty. The goal is always to win it as quickly as possible, but at the same time, we can't have that short of a video. Come on now. Let's go at deep threat, as Lucas is not one of them, but we need to try to develop him on all the fronts if possible, which probably won't be possible, to be honest, because the AI just upgrades whatever the highest thing is and just calls it a day. Same as Pierce here is insanely good at trucking, but his stiff arm sucks. So I get the elusiveness, which could give him a speed upgrade. Doesn't, but that's a nice little upgrade. Spin move probably doesn't matter at this point, but anything a +2 is always good. But let's go on to the Super Bowl. It's got to be the Eagles, right? The Panthers do, okay, well, here they are. The Panthers do get some pretty good sim luck, and we have actually seen this. Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember seeing the battle between these two teams, because obviously they have the first pick overall quarterback. Let's take a look at how they got here. I didn't actually just see their record. Did they have the wild card as well? They did against the Packers. Then they beat the Falcons. That's not that hard of a matchup. Beat the Eagles by 4, though. Here it is. I mean, Super Bowl in year 2, which is pretty impressive. 85 overall. We are definitely on the right track, but it is a little early. Obviously, Dell was going to go up in dev. Sadly, Stroud didn't, though. Lucas, there's a lot of good little receiving seasons, but no one other than Dell was a guarantee. And then defensively, I honestly don't remember the stats other than Anderson's. This seemingly makes sense that this is the ratings. Either way, not the best team, but we have just enough talent, right? Stingley's already 85. Byron's an 86. Ward's an 85. Obviously, Will Anderson's like maxed almost. It's not a bad team at all. It's definitely not a bad team. But yeah, Tank Dell is definitely upgraded like an absolute madman. He's an 86 overall now. Deep route is up. So, yeah, pretty solid ratings. Pretty solid. Release and deep route, you definitely get up a little bit more, but solid stuff. And then defensively, we got to upgrade Mr. Anderson, who's probably nearing max already, which is crazy to think. But he's definitely up there, like almost 90 in all of the pass rush abilities, which is pretty insane. Run stopper. I suppose his finesse probably sucks, so let's go with finesse. It doesn't suck, but, it's not as good. A bunch of different things. So what is his ratings? Wow, okay. Houston Texans. Not a hard team to rebuild, apparently. Okay, shocker. The number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 and 3 overall picks. Did the Panthers make a mistake? About to find out. 7-all, 14-7 so far. A pretty damn good bowl. 14-7 still. 17-7, not bad. Really good start. One more should do it. One more does it. Wow, don't even need it, honestly. They barely scored. What an absolute schmattering. 38-14. And the Panthers regret it all. Just like the devs regret putting this Super Bowl celebration in. I don't know, once again, still how quarterback runs onto the field and is also then seen standing on the sideline, not moving. The guy's, he's fast. He's fast. Of course, Stroud is him. Bryce Young, not him yet. Made the right call. Not that there was really much of a call to make since they had the remainder of the 2. But there was thoughts that they could go Will Anderson instead of C.J. Stroud. And they were like, screw that. We'll take both. Thank you very much. See you later. And because of that, they win a Super Bowl in year 2. We really didn't change the team that much. Like, we've improved it. But, like, who did we really add that's like, oh, well, that's why you added blah, blah, blah. Like, we had Byron Jones. That's a realistic move. Bryce Huff, he's like an 80 overall. He started as a 78. The wide receivers are, like, literally all the players that we started with. I mean, we really did nothing. You know, we didn't really add much yet. And yet here we are winning it all in Season 2. But we're not done there. You know my definition of a dynasty, winning 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I know there's other people that are like 3-5, 3-10, whatever. Mine's 2 out of 3. That is the true definition of dominance. And we're going to go and try to do that real quick. So 2 more seasons, unless we win this next season, which would be really unlikely. But we win back-to-back, then it's like, GG, you've done it all. But 2 out of 3 gives us another chance. Byron Jones ended up being decent. But with 120 mil, we can get him back. So even though he just won a Super Bowl with us / for us, I think we can do better. And because of that, I'm going to let him go for now. Just for now. But obviously, if there's like a 90 overall, then signing him would be such a waste. Diggs is a 90 overall. We've seen, ironically enough, speaking of Byron, seen the Cowboys let good corners go before. Is Diggs a good corner, though? I think he actually played better last year than the year before, but I don't know. This is interesting now. So free safety, is Ward even our guy anymore? Like, is he gone? Obviously, we have the free safety we drafted. Okuda's not bad either. He's actually decent, more realistic, and he might be a guy that gets passed around quite a bit around the league, which is weird to say in that way. But Trayvon Diggs, how many interceptions and all that did he have last season? 2 interceptions. It's nothing special. How much money does he want? I mean, he wants like next to nothing here, considering his dev and age and overall. Is he a guy that gets let go in real life? I don't know, but I am going to attempt to grab him. A little worried, though, because if we don't get him, then Okuda is going to be gone, and I actually really like Okuda here. He's actually insane. 86 man coverage is really solid. He's 25. He's not asking for the craziest money in the world, it appears, so it's questionable, and you also argue, do you even need a corner, considering I kind of want to just like develop Okuda a little bit. Like, Trayvon's questionable. Dallas probably at this rate keeps him, whereas Jeff Okuda obviously is a guy that, like I said, could bounce around. We'll see what the competitive offer is. The Chiefs are making it tough. I also don't want to pay too much for him because he's good, but he's not great. I mean, that should get it done, to be honest, but I'm a little worried, just a little bit. DTs, they're not bad. Ed Oliver's not great, but his block shedding is pretty decent as an 85. But DT definitely is a position of need, so it's like debatable that we just try to go for one. What is his name? Wilkins, 94 block shed. Not quite what we're looking for, right? We kind of need a pass rusher more than anything. It's also very expensive, so I think we're going to pass on him. And it would be nice to have like a true, I wouldn't say X, but closer than what we've got now. But we got it done with who we have, so I'm just going to let it ride, to be honest. We got both DBs, Jeremy Chin being one of them, and believe it or not, he is our new middle linebacker. That is where he is playing. He's got the size for it, has experience with it. He's the new starting middle linebacker. Almost called the mental linebacker. 83 overall. Not a great jump, if you will. More of a downgrade, but totally worth it. Insanely athletic, and we are going to play him there, hoping for the best. Block shed definitely could use some work, but his coverage is also absurd for a linebacker. So get that run stop up, and he's him. So this is a bit costly, 32, 96, and then a third next year for 20 and 180. But there is a wide receiver that he doesn't look even that amazing, to be honest. But I scouted him 100%, and it says he is a top 5 talent grade. And I don't think those are ever really wrong. At least overall-wise, his dev could suck, but he's definitely good enough, I think, and he's that true X wide receiver, if you will, although he will not be playing it because Tank Dell has proven himself to be the true number 1 on this team. But Antoine Cook is a must-grab, I think. Key ratings are a little iffy, but for a guy his size, I like that you have a bunch of C's to B's, because C's for a wide receiver are basically like A's for other player positions. So we're going to take the chance, and we may have just sold. We'll see that overall. Like I said, dev was not guaranteed, but overall I was hoping, and I'm still hoping, I'm pretty sure top 5 guarantees the overall to be at least a 74 plus, which even now that I think about it, really ain't that appeasing. We're going to our next pick here at 32, see if there's anyone there. Don't know if there will be. There was a couple of decent-looking players. 2 wide receivers and a pass rusher. I guess I'll take George Sherman because he's at least decent. 84 speed, 83 excel with a B finesse, I think it was, B power, whatever. Not bad for the depth. And even though we have a bunch of wide receivers already, Jonathan Harold is pretty fast, 95 speed, 95 excel in the late 5th. This next pick probably is a fullback, to be honest. I'm just grabbing whatever at this point. I don't even care. Actually, you know what? Fullback is just a waste. It's not a waste in the 7th, but this, I think we might still be able to get a 5th for. And nobody will give me a 5th, but I suppose I'll get a 6th and a 7th in the Dolphins, which is basically a 5th. We get a 6th for that pick from the Falcons. We had a bunch of 7th-round picks, if you remember, but now they're apparently gone. So I guess now we'll grab a fullback and then call it a draft. That guy looks pretty good, Mr. Zach Rogers. 76 strength. Apparently not. All right, here we go. Wide receiver. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. 77 overall. Basically is that top 5. I mean, he's really good. Has all the traits. Injury's great. Stamina's great. Toughness is iffy. Kick returning for some reason. 94 change of direction, and his size is kind of absurd. Speed's a little low, but jumping, all the catching ratings are great. Release is solid. Short and medium route are really good. Only thing that's bad on him is deep. That is definitely worth it. Definitely worth it, even as a normal dev. Not the easiest position to... can we get something in the 80s? We're not going to get anything cool in the, I guess, 85. Not the easiest position to get dev ups for, but good, good enough. It is what it is. It's an okay pick. Trading off Davis Mills to the Commanders for a 4th-round pick. The Vikings were offering us Lewis Cine, but obviously that's a little bit too valuable of a trade. Lewis Cine is like an 81 overall beast at this point. That's a little overpriced for a guy that needs a contract and they don't even know is their guy, but also worth it for them because Commanders were starting Jacoby Brissett is like a 72 overall before then, so it's a fair trade-off, I think. So Picard apparently is a superstar, which is interesting. He's not very good, but he's a decent tackle. The problem is we don't really need a tackle. I'll put him at center. I think I'm going to let him sit one more season, though, and then start him, because Reisner might be not much of a higher overall than him, but he is significantly better, and we just won a Super Bowl with him. His run block finesse sucks, but everything else is really good, so there's just no point. All right, the Season 3 team just got done winning a Super Bowl. 2 chances, 2 more seasons, unless we win a Super Bowl here, so the Dynasty is very much so real. Tank Dell surprising the hell out of me in this one. Already an 87 overall as a 23-year-old star. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Defensively, Stingley's a 70 or an 85. Took a little bit of a drop off at corner, but more potential. Could get us like an 84, 85 by the end of the season if we're lucky. And also, speaking of more potential, 78 overall free safety now, but he's a superstar. And then Chin, the inside linebacker, another high potential guy as well. So definitely a good team. Just hoping that we have a really good year for developing. Maybe a breakout or two would be nice, specifically on that D-line. If we can get a Huff upgrade, maybe he gets another contract. I don't know. He's didn't really play super well the first season. Now this season is his last chance before we let him go or re-sign him here. So we'll find out. 131 mil. Bryce Huff is very interested, but is he very worth it? I don't know. Reisner, probably not going to keep him, especially since the center we have is superstar. Jimmy Ward might just be retired. Nico Collins kind of getting the raw end of the deal here because he actually was playing pretty well for us. Just, I know his development isn't great because he's already 25. What are his actual ratings though? Maybe we should have just gave him more of a chance, dude. He's actually not bad at all. What's his ask? Because good, just keep him just for depth. I don't hate that. A 3 or 15, I'd be willing as a backup. Not anymore. To the playoffs and beyond. I don't know, but we had a pretty good start to the season. Kind of teetered a little bit near the end. Got a couple of wins that we desperately needed and found our way to the postseason. Stetson Bennett, over 6,000 yards. The memes. Holy crap, he's killing it. Yeah, 2 wins in a row after sucking a bunch. Yeah, I said it, damn it. C.J. Stroud also on the list, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at the numbers. Hopefully that rookie did well. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like such an idiot for replacing Nico Collins. Stroud keeps getting better every season. We love it. Pierce just at 4 yards per carry, but 15 touchdowns. And Cook was great. Wow. The whole group besides Schultz was great. Didn't change the scheme once again because the Giants scheme is working. Tank Dell was great yet again. Cook was amazing. Might be a superstar. Lucas was decent. Like I said, Schultz was not great, but it is what it is. Tackles, not solid at all, specifically Tunsil. Driscoll with 13.5 sacks. I gave Huff the 3 years 37 because he had 5 sacks around week 10 or 11. Didn't finish that great, but 8 sacks is good enough. Will Anderson with 17.5. 5 interceptions for Stingley. Could be a dev up. Fairburn wasn't great. Whether we win the Super Bowl or not this season, this was a very successful one. Of course, add a couple of veteran cornerbacks just for the actual cornerback room. But punt return touchdown for Patrick Peterson. We take that. C.J. Stroud was the 4th place MVP, which is definitely getting closer. Like I said with Cook, he might be a superstar, man. He might be a superstar. Best wide receiver. Is he an X factor? Will Anderson killed it again. Back to the playoffs just after winning the Super Bowl. Can we win back-to-back? Can we become a dynasty? All right, going to the end of the game. Jacksonville with a nice start. 3-0. Still 3-0. Still 3-0. Down 10-0. I mean, defense can only do so much when you keep giving up short fields on offense. Nice. 17-10. Nice little bounce back. 24-13. I don't know how many scores just happened in the span of like 10 seconds, but we are smoking. 31-20 now. And that will be the win, 38-20. We take it. Of course, 4-2 for the touchdown to pick ratio. Pierce was decent. Cook was really good. The future superstar / X Factor himself. Pretty good team effort. Fairburn tried to lose the game as hard as he could. To the divisional round. The Raiders. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I could live with it. 88 overall to their 87. Some really peculiar teams in this one. Normally it's like the Bengals, the Chiefs, always the same teams, but the Raiders, fair enough. All right, going to the end of the game, they instantly scored a rushing touchdown. Instantly. 14-0, 14-7, nice little bounce back. It's all tied up, which is really shocking the way we started this thing out. 21 all at half, that's all you could ask for. Come on offense, 28-21. Nice, up 10. One more. Oh, got a touchdown. There it is. To the championship round again. Okay, dude. I like it. I like this a lot. This is happiness. C.J. Stroud and Reed, pretty similar stuff. Just they threw the pick. We also had one more touchdown. Pierce wasn't great. Jacobs with that huge rushing touchdown out the gates. What do we got? 3 sacks for Will Anderson, who's been great. Gay with an interception. Fairburn. Was that like 2 extra points missed as well? What was it? No way, dude. There's no way. The Bengals, an 88 overall team, playoff blizzard, but I'm going to ignore it. Here we go to the end of the game. The Bengals drive down for a touchdown very quickly. So do we, though, in fairness. Nice stop. We score another touchdown. 14 all. Oh, man, we're driving. We must be turning the ball over a lot. Nice. Up by 7, up by 10, up by 13. It's still anyone's game. Only up by 6. Nice touchdown with a 2-point. One more score will win it, and we're headed to the Super Bowl. Let's go, dude. How in the world? Back-to-back. Okay, we'll take it. Dalton Schultz, not bad. Lucas, okay, some new names for today's game. Can Fairburn do better? Finally. Their kicker actually struggled, which played a pretty big factor. They only lost by, 10? Is there a way to see, how many points? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't really think there's a way for me to prove that they went for they got blocked. They went for a touchdown when they didn't earn, whatever made of, you get what I mean. There's 6 points, so there's no way for me to tell if they would have went for a field goal or, how it would change the game. There's no way for me to tell, but 2 field goals is massive. That's a massive amount of misses. Going against the Packers here, 88 overall versus their what? 88 overall, fair enough. Any dev up? Stroud was pretty good. Does go up in dev. Cook goes from normal to superstar. His team, even though it's very young, is already built very nicely. Let's take a look at the defense. Any dev ups here? Driscoll's a superstar. Stingley's a superstar. We take that. Driscoll, these are run stopper. Well, that sucks. A little bit of a shaky start, but did get the dev up there, and then, played better this season for sure. Now a superstar, and the team is well on its way. Even though it's already won a Super Bowl and has a chance at another one, so I would agree that it's maybe past well on its way. It's already here. 4 block shed for Will Anderson. Wow. What an upgrade. So the Packers apparently have Derrick Henry on this squad, so that's interesting. I wonder who their quarterback is, though. Surely they moved on from Love. They almost never stick it out with Jordan Love in-game. Emmett Hausler. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's not even on the roster doesn't surprise me either. Aaron Jones is still there. That is a busted combination. What? Freaking A.J. Dillon, dude. He must have just went off. But whereas Quentin Johnston and Watson could have been something they did in real life, but they didn't. Luke Musgrave's an 87 overall, in fairness. Where's Tucker Kraft, though? Who even knows? But Royce Newman's still the starter. Yikes. All right, here we go. 3-0. 10-0. Okay, they're kind of smoking on us so far. 17-0. Finally got on the board. Defense makes a stop. Now only down by 3. We can live with that. Up by 4 at the start of the half. Up by 11. Defense is doing its thing. We're going to win another Super Bowl with a shutout after the first. And, well, close enough. Kind of. 42-31. Back-to-back wins. Wow, with the Texans. I get this roster, they did pretty good with, Stroud and Anderson or whatever. But, like, the Texans, that name usually is like, it doesn't matter how good your roster is. We're going to make you suck. Giants roster, or their offensive playbooks, not bad. Also, in general, 4-3, much better than a 3-4, without a doubt. Never run a 3-4 in the game. Maybe if you're actually playing, I don't know. But as far as Sims success goes, run the 4-3, have a good day, and, be happy with it. Not going to look at the celebration anymore. We've already seen it last time. I guess last thing, wow, Stroud deserved it. Last thing to do would be to take a look at the development, even though there wasn't that many years of the players, and call it a rebuild. How? Let's take a look at it. Stroud was an 89 overall, not quite a 90, but he's so young still. Very accurate, obviously. Solid stuff. Let's take a look at the wide receiver, Tank Dell, who was the most impressive out of everyone in this rebuild, obviously. Insane short, insane medium. Speed ended up going up 1, I believe. Releases, a little bit worrisome, but great catching. He is insane. He is him. What a freaking player. Let's take a look at Dameon Pierce, who is a pretty damn good overall himself. 96 trucking, 90 stiff arm, so that stiff arm caught up. 90 speed, 92 excel. I remember he started like 86 speed in the game, I believe. Basically unusable. Antoine Cook, 82 overall, 6'3", superstar wide receiver, 79 release. He's still a little raw, but really good catching and so much potential to work with. Offensive line, do we care? Not really. Dalton Schultz, I really don't care either. He's going to be slow as hell. Henry, let's see. 85 speed, 88 excel, 83 block shed, 74 zone coverage. His man coverage isn't very good, but athletic enough. Was good. It was good. Nothing spectacular, but good. Christian Harris, 81 overall. I don't really care about Chin. We just got him. He didn't really go up that much. Block shed is terrible for Christian here. He's definitely struggling a little bit there. What else do we have? Petrie, 82 overall. He must not have gone up in zone. No, he did. He just really didn't go up in dev, or his overall. His overall, like, barely moved. And then Matt Gay, not the kicker, 81 overall. His overall barely moved, too. He thinks he's a corner, so there's that. That surely would be a great way to develop a player. Stingley, the superstar, 88 overall. What are his ratings? Yeah, it's always one style. It's how the game goes. Wish it would just upgrade like slot, just so it's like more balanced, if you will. But very good overall there. Okuda, we just got him, but I am kind of curious to see if he went up in speed or anything like that. And gonna be honest with you, I don't remember if he did, because I don't remember his starting point. It was either 90 or 91, one of the two. Bryce Huff, I guess we'll look at. He really didn't really do too well for us. 8 sacks this season at least, but 88 finesse move. He's a solid player, I guess. I'm glad we got him. We're going to leave the main man for last, obviously. Dom Driscoll, 83 block shed, 80 finesse. Very good, balanced player, but obviously more seasons down the line, that would go away as they were just constantly upgrading his run stopper. Same as Glass, 80 finesse, though, 77 block shed. Not sure how his finesse is 80, block shed is 77, yet his run stopper is higher. I'm not really sure, maybe tackling or something like that. Riddick, who never got a chance to start, even though he has all the potential in the world. And then the main man, who we obviously are looking at last, Mr. Will Anderson, the 99 overall, 23-year-old X-Factor, who has 99 power move, 86 finesse. what is that? An 87 block shed, like everything else 90 plus pretty much. He is a freak. But anyways, that's going to be it for the Houston Texans realistic style rebuild. The fact that we won back-to-back Super Bowls with this team is ridiculous. I did have a feeling we were going to do better than expected, though, because of those cornerstone players, like we said. Wide receiver is the question mark, though, but I still kind of felt like we could have signed somebody like, Ayuk, and then we didn't need to because Tank Dell did so well. But, yeah, I felt good about it because, quarterback, young and good, Will Anderson, Stingley, all those guys I mentioned. I don't know if the Texans would be a team I would use in Madden 24 because I just think having that franchise quarterback already kind of like defeats the purpose, if you will, even though there's still a lot more to get. But let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what you guys think about having another rebuild. What team you would like to see next. I might give it a little bit of a break, at least every other day at this point, but might give it a break on, do Steelers franchise and then have that relocation franchise start up by the end of the week. But let me know what you guys want to see next. Maybe Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. I don't know. Steelers, Panthers. It's something. Let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, though, if you enjoyed the video, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, appreciate your continued support on the channel. Maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PK Plays for non-Madden content, which right now we are starting up Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I think part 2 will be up tomorrow. And then the next, the day after the next day would be part 3 and so on probably. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!